Welcome everyone. I am Minu, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Kristu Jayanti College. In today's session, I'll be sharing a few insights on Sonar Kella, which is a movie directed by Satyajit Ray. So, Sonar Kella, also titled as The Golden Fortress, which was released in the year 1974. So, let me take you to the introduction of the movie. Sonar Kella is actually a mystery novel written by the Bengali writer and filmmaker Satyajit Ray in the year 1971. And this book has been adapted into a movie with the same title known as Sonar Kella in the year 1974, which was starred by Soumitra Chatterjee, Santosh Datta, Siddhartha Chatterjee and Kushal Chakrabarti. And this movie was released in US with the title The Golden Fortress. And this particular movie is a detective thriller which takes us on a roller coaster all across India, and it tries to explore the mystery rooted in childhood trauma and historical intrigue. So the awards that this particular movie has won is an example of the enormous impact this particular movie had created all over India. It won the National Film Award for Best Screenplay and Best Direction in the year 1974, and it won the Best National Award for Cinematography, Child Artist and Best Feature Film. Apart from that, it has won the Government of West Bengal Award for Best Film for Direction and Screenplay. So now let me take you to the plot of the movie. So the mystery begins. That's the first part I would like to introduce to you. The film opens with a young boy. His name is Mukul Dar. He was living in Kolkata, and he also claimed that he has a power, a special power to recollect the past memories. So he is capable of telling what happened in his previous life, who he was, all those he often narrates to his parents and to everybody. And then mostly he speaks about a golden fortress. Golden fortress in Bengali it is Sonar Kella, and he talks about peacocks flying across the particular place. And then he always try to recollect about gems, the hidden treasure that he always claims that he sees in his dream. And because of this particular behavior of the boy, Mukuldar, his parents were worried about this strange behavior. So they have decided to take him for a consultation with Dr. Hemanga Hajra. He is a parapsychologist. And this particular Dr. Hemanga Hajra studies about reincarnation. So he, after listening to the description what the boy Mukuldar is detailing, he identified the description matches with a particular fort in Rajasthan known as Jaisalmer Fort. And he wants to know more about whether the hallucinations or the reincarnations that he is stating is true or not. He decided to take the boy to Sonar Kella, that is the Jaisalmer Fort. And the second twist of the plot is where we are introduced with the villains. We have two villains in the movie, that is Mandar Bose and Amiyanath Burma. And both of them overhears the story of Mukul, and they created a strategy to kidnap the boy and travel along with him to the Jaisalmer Fort and find a fortune over there. But what happened, they believe that this is true. What the boy is, visualizing or sharing with everybody is true. So that's why they decided to kidnap Mukul. And the third part of the movie shows us the investigation team came into the field. Mukul's father was really worried about the kidnap of Mukul, his own son. So he hired a detective, a private detective. He is very brilliant. His name is Pradosh Chandra Mittar. He is popularly known as Feluda. And he was followed by his own cousin Tapesh Ranjan Mittar, and he is known as Topesh. And one more writer, he is Jadayu. He is known as Jadayu. His real name is Lal Mohan Ganguly. So three of them had decided to came to the scene and investigate about the kidnapping of Mukul. And the fourth plot, we are moving towards the journey towards Rajasthan in search of the lost boy, the kidnapped boy Mukul. And there on the way, we could see that there are many attempts from these two criminals, as I stated, Mandar Bose and Amianath Burman. Both of them had decided to assault Dr. Hajra, the parapsychologist, because he is the one who traveled along with Mughal to Jaisalmer. On the way from Hajra's custody, this boy Mukul had been kidnapped. And they were traveling, in a train. In that particular train, the Mandar Bose, one of the criminals, is already there in the train, and then he decides to chase the people who are following Mukul and the other villain. And on the way, he tried to attack the people, the investigation team, including Feluda, his cousin, and the writer. And finally, because of the physical skills that Feluda, the brilliant detective, had, he was able to overcome the attack, and they reached the Golden Fortress. So the next scene is portrayed in the city, in the place known as Rajasthan, especially around Jaisalmer Fort. And that is its climax is happening in the fort of Jaisalmer. And where Feluda was able to track the villain, he was able to find out the villains, and finally a kind of showdown takes place in that ancient place of Jaisalmer Fort. And from there, so we are reaching the climax of the movie, wherein Mughal realizes the truth. The young boy from Kolkata realized that whatever vision he had, he believed that it is reincarnation of his past life. He realized that it is not real, because all these are reasons of his repressed childhood memories, and it's not just incarnation or reincarnation. And then the treasure was never real. That also he identified. Along with him, the villains who kidnapped them realized that the entire scheme that they had created based on a misinterpretation of the child's story. Finally, they realized that it is not truth. It is a kind of misbelief that the boy had. And then Feluda outsmarts the criminals, because he was able to use his intelligence along with his physical skills to overpower the criminals. And when we are moving towards the resolution of the movie, finally it is truth and justice that won. The villains were arrested, and Mughal is reunited with his father. And the parapsychologist Dr. Hajra, he was able to recover from his injuries, which was caused by the villains. And the investigation team, Feluda and his companions, they left Rajasthan with the satisfaction that their logic and their intelligence finally won over superstition. So now I'll take you to the character sketch of the movie. We'll start with the most important character, that is Feluda, that is Pradosh Chandra Mitra. He is obviously an intelligent detective. That's why he was able to use his logic in resolving the mystery behind the child's story. And then he privileges always rational and scientific thinking over this kind of superstition. And above all, he is a physically skilled man. That's why he was capable to win over the combat between the villains. And then his confident and calm demeanor throughout the movie add a kind of interest to his character, and people started accepting Feluda. That's why in the coming series, we can see that there are different kinds of characters modeled on Feluda. And the next character is Topish, the cousin of Feluda, who was accompanying Feluda in his investigation. He was exactly like kind of a Watson figure to Sherlock Holmes, and he is younger and more impressionable. He is the one who, through his character, Satyajit Ray gives a perspective of audience to us. And he is not completely rational. Occasionally, he tries to believe the stories narrated by Mukul. And so the next character, as I stated, the writer and Jadayu, and he is a crime novelist. But even though he is a crime novelist who always writes about crime, mystery, thriller, he lacks the courage of his fictional characters. In reality, he is not as confident as his characters, but his presence throughout the movie provides a kind of comic relief. And then the exaggerated storytelling and the nervous personality that he has definitely provided a kind of or serves the purpose of an interlude in his this particular movie. And then he acts as a foil to Feluda. Foil means because Feluda is very confident, he's methodical and practical, but when it comes to Jadayu, he's quite impulsive and imaginative in his character. And the Mukul, the young boy who assumes that he has the power to retell his past life or to connect with his past life, it is not a skill because the boy is haunted by the traumatic memories that he had. That haunts him. It's not about his past life. And his vision drives the entire plot and it connects with all the characters. And psychologically, his condition could be, as I stated, it's a result or it's a consequence of the childhood trauma. It's not mere incarnation or reincarnation. And the villains, two villains we had, Mandar Bose and Amyanath Burman. Both of them are smooth talking, and but they represents deception and opportunism. And obviously, this Amyanath Burman, who is imposing himself as Dr. Hajra, he is the mastermind behind this scheme, this plotting, who definitely manipulated Mughal's vision only for his personal gain. And both villains contrast with Feluda's honesty and rationality because their character is characterized through deception and opportunism. And let me take you to the themes and symbolism. So first major theme that we can trace out from this movie is rationality versus superstition. Obviously, the basic intention of this film is to critique the blind belief that we have in the supernatural elements. And people tend to believe the past natural memories that Mughal is sharing with us is real, but the character, especially through the character of Feluda, we try to rely on logic to expose the hidden mystery or the truth. And then at the same time, the film intends to promote scientific thinking, which is a recurrent theme that we can see in all throughout the works of Satyajit Ray. Another theme that the director or the writer wants to explore is adventure and exploration. The journey across Rajasthan is both physical and intellectual. For Mukul, it's obviously a personal journey because he wants to know what he is seeing in his memory, in his dream, or the power that he is telling is real or not. He wants to connect with his past identity. But when it comes to the character of Feluda, for him, it is a logical journey. It's obviously investigative in nature. He wants to uncover the truth, the hidden truth. And the third theme is childhood trauma and memory, because at the end, after we reach the climax, we could understand that whatever vision Mughal had, it's a repression or a consequences of the psychological trauma or the childhood trauma that he had. And then his fascination with that concept, the golden fortress, it might be stemmed from the suppressed memory or an external influence that he had. And the next concept theme is good versus evil. As I stated, Feluda, the central character, he represents rationality and justice. But when it comes to the villains, they represent greed and deception. And this confrontation between this good and evil is not just physical alone, but it is intellectual in nature, because Feluda's intelligence ultimately defeats the enemies, the villains in this movie. And I'll just brief about the historical and cultural context of the movie. The emergence of detective fiction in Bengal. Bengal obviously has a rich tradition of detective fiction. We are familiar with Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyaya or Byomkesh Bakshi. All those works already shown tendency towards detective fiction. So Feluda is created by Satyajit Ray, stands apart because he is modern, educated, scientific and quite rational in his decisions and outlook. And Rajasthan can be considered as a symbol, because why Rajasthan has been chosen as a setting? Because of a layer of historical mysticism added to the particular place known as Rajasthan. And Jaisalmer's golden fortress, it represents India's lost heritage, and at the same time it hints at the colonial fascination with our treasure hunting tendencies. And reincarnation beliefs in India. Many Indians believe in reincarnation because we always try to look back at the previous life that we had. So making Mughal's vision plausible to some, so that might be the intention. And anyway, Satyajit Ray subtly critiques this kind of belief, especially beliefs in this reincarnation or supernatural, and showing that even deeply held myths can be questioned. So this movie can be considered as an attempt to question or critique this kind of belief we the Indians have. And cinematography and visual style, obviously he is quite famous for the naturalistic filmmaking and the very subtle way that he captures the scenes and the storytelling, what the visuals that he had used to enhance the storytelling style. So Rajasthan's landscape become a kind of very important part in cinematography and the visual images that he had used. The vast and the barren deserts that represents or symbolizes Mughals' mental confusion and the isolation that he is having. But when it comes to the Golden Fortress, the Jaisalmer's fort, that creates the mythic aura that blends with mystery along with history. And then the changing landscape throughout the movie reflects the character's emotional journey, the train sequence, the camel rides, or the climax of the fortress. All those images visually support the film's theme of adventure and discovery. And the camera work and framing, obviously the tracking shots during chase scenes increase the tension of the movie, and then the wide shots that is used obviously provided a grandeur to the movie, specifically the Rajasthan's forts and deserts, and certain close-up shots of Mughal's eyes shows the psychological distress that the boy is going through. And when it comes to the lighting and color palette used, the golden hues to represent the Jaisalmer fortress contrast with the dark interiors. It again shows the illusion of treasure versus reality. And there are a few night scenes wherein they use low lighting to enhance the mystery and suspense. So to conclude this particular movie's description, the movie blends adventure, mystery, realism, and definitely it makes an engaging film for all ages, even though it is created in the year 1974, but it is applicable, it is still being watched by people irrespective of the generation or the age group they belong to. And it tries to subvert supernatural tropes by providing a very rational explanation, and it is beautifully shot with very realistic, natural, the landscape of Rajasthan, and it introduces Feluda as a very modern scientific detective